Okay, bit of a mishmash today. We got a screamer from Michail Antonio. Well, I'll talk about it. You won't actually get to see the goal. We can't do that sort of thing, that's for sure. We got some Declan Rice news about him. Well, I'll tell you now. He's available for the Wolves game, apparently. We'll deal with that a little bit. We've got a new director on the board at West Ham. If you were thinking that Daniel Krasinski's takeover was going to be the... how can I say this? The smoothing of the pathway. We don't want to get that wrong again, do we? The smoothing of the pathway towards a full takeover from Daniel Krasinski. Then this new appointment on the board may well change your thinking. I've got 3 stories from the One Football app. The One Football app. I've not spoken about the One Football app for a little while, have I, really? Naughty boy. It's downloadable in the link below. What it's done, it's got all the West Ham news stories all in one place for you. Download the app, it'll ask you your support. Click West Ham, click England. England, 10-0. What on earth was all that about? What a load of rubbish. I'm not rubbish. 10-0's brilliant. But these guys, San Marino, shouldn't be playing football. I'm not saying they can't play football. I'm just saying, bit of a waste of time. A non-competitive match. Anyway, so you've got your England stuff, you've got your West Ham stuff, you've got all your Premier League stuff on the One Football app. It's free, and on match days it comes into its own with lineups before the kickoff. 2 o'clock on Saturday. It'll tell you who's playing for West Ham. Anyway, 3 of the stories on the One Football app I've just discussed. Right, okay, let's talk about Michail Antonio's goal. He can't do that. I mean, he never does that. What? Look, I'm really delighted for him. I'm really pleased for him. He wanted to play international football. He scored in consecutive games, basically. He made his debut in the last... Actually, the international break before last. There are so many international breaks now. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, he played 1 game for Jamaica. He missed the last round of international football. And I thought he made a really, really good decision. I felt he made a decision about his fitness. And I felt he made a decision that was the right decision for himself and the right decision for West Ham. Look, when he goes over there, obviously we're all very, very nervous that he's going to come back injured. But anyway, so he's going to play 2 games during this current international break. He scored a decent goal, a very Antonio-like goal in his first game. This he played the USA yesterday, basically. By the way, he scored a very Antonio goal, sort of running, marauding from the left, shrugging off a defender. Scores a goal, pops the ball in the back of the net. You know the goal. You've seen this goal many times from Antonio at West Ham. What he went and did against the USA was a goal that is not very like anything he's done at West Ham, certainly. It was a rip and schnorten. It was an absolute howitzer. It was a rocket. It was, I don't know why I'm calling it all these different names. It was a long shot, basically, which went in the back of the goal. I don't know how far it was, 30 yards, something like that. The type of shot that when you watch Michail Antonio, and if you are a seasoned West Ham watcher, which you all are, he skies that. Come on. That goes out over the stadium. It goes up into orbit and is currently sort of one of the new satellites around Jupiter. That's what he does for West Ham. This one, honestly, it was like a long ranger from Ronaldo or someone like that. Excellent goal. I'm pleased for him. Don't get me wrong. I'm pleased that he's not injured. That's absolutely great. But I'm pleased that he's got to sample international football. He's gone away. He's got his goal. Probably feels like the main man. Probably feels vindicated. And he's returned uninjured. That's just massive for us. Now, I do think there's something we've got to guard against a little bit here, and that is jet lag. I don't know what you're like. I really used to suffer badly with jet lag. It would put me out for 3 or 4 days. And I'm not talking about sort of now. I'm talking about when I was in my 20s. You know, I really used to suffer from it. Hopefully, but I know not everybody's like that. Hopefully Antonio can handle it a lot better. Excuse me. Hopefully he's nice and sharp for the Wolves game. We need him in the Wolves game, that's for sure. The other guy for the Wolves game, of course, is Declan Rice. I think the suspicion was that it was COVID or whatever. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But the indications are that he's better now. Let's be perfectly honest. He didn't need to go and play in that ridiculous game that we just saw England play. And to be fair, England didn't need him to play, did they? Look, I'm not saying people shouldn't play for England or England shouldn't play games. I'm not saying that at all. But I am a firm believer that sport should be competitive. I mean, every sport. Formula One died on its arse for years because you didn't know who was going to win the race. Well, sorry, because you did know who was going to win the race. If you like your boxing, you remember Klitschko. The Klitschko brothers, they basically cherry-picked a load of fighters, by and large, throughout their career who weren't as good as them. You knew who was going to win the fight for a lot of their career. I find... I don't know. I know Dortmund are a good team, but do Bayern Munich win the league every year in the Bundesliga? I think they do. Sport's got to be competitive. It really does. And Declan Rice didn't need to go and play for this... It was an exhibition match. It was a demonstration. It was Harlem Globetrotters, really, wasn't it? So, good for England, I guess. People are talking about Harry Kane, and Harry Kane's being interviewed. Harry Kane's being interviewed afterwards. They're talking about him equaling Gary Lineker's record and stuff like this. But how can they do that with a straight face? How can the interviewer ask Harry Kane those questions with a straight face? Excuse the edit, I just had a massive coughing fit then. A bit croaky this morning, certainly. Anyway, look, I don't know. Feather your nest, do what you got to do, get the goals tally up, but let's not pretend that it's a competitive match and there's anything completely brilliant going on. There just isn't in there. Anyway, Declan Rice didn't play. That's my point. That's good for us. We need Declan, and we're going to need Michail Antonio for this game against Wolves. It's a testament to how good our season is that this Wolves game is a massively important game. I mean, it really is, and it's because every game now is going to be massively important. And then we've got a run of 3. I think it's Man City, Chelsea, Brighton. I think those are the 3 coming up on the horizon. If we can get past those 3 and still be in the top 4, I think it's on. Honestly, I really do. I think it's on. Anyway, Declan back for that. Michail Antonio, as long as he's not jet-lagged, he's fine. This should be really good. In fact, I'm going to do the Fornals bit later because there's another article on Fornals being the hardest working player in the Premier League. We'll do that. We'll do a separate video on that one. The other thing is Jack Sullivan's been appointed to the West Ham board. Now, I guess it's no... Okay, if this had happened a month ago, you wouldn't have been surprised. I wouldn't have been surprised, okay? I think on the back of Daniel Kretinsky buying whatever it was, 27% shares, whatever it might have been, and his mate, say his mate, his business partner, I don't know who the guy is. His name's Horsky. It's a good name. It's a good name. I think with them coming in, I think the suspicion was that maybe this is going to be a sort of steady transition over to takeover. I never actually felt that. I didn't. His whole way of doing things is to buy small percentages of a football club, certainly. So I think a lot of people would have been surprised, but I know some people were hoping that takeover was going to happen in full. I just can't see it. Here's the theory, that basically West Ham don't have to pay a fine towards what in essence is the mayor's office if we sell the club for a profit before 2023. So the suspicion is Sullivan's just waiting until 2023 before he then sells the club so he doesn't incur the fine, thus making more profit. I think if he was going to do that, then Jack doesn't get added to the board of directors. I just don't. I think this is long-term planning. You also got to remember David Gold's added somebody to the board as well. It might be, I might have this wrong, it might be his son-in-law. Might have that wrong, but he's definitely added somebody to the board. So actually this board, which was quite thin, I think, in many respects, with just Sullivan, Gold and Brady, has those 3 on it, has Gold's, if we just for argument's sake, Gold's son-in-law, and now has Kretinsky, now has Horsky, and now has Jack Sullivan. That's a lot bigger. That's a lot bigger board. What's it mean? I don't think it means an awful lot. Apart from I don't think David Sullivan's selling up. Well, I don't think he's selling up at all. But even if you thought he was, it ain't going to happen anytime soon. How's that going to impact the club? I hope it doesn't impact the club at all, actually. I hope we just carry on doing exactly what we're doing, albeit with a few funds coming in January, as I've mentioned before in previous videos. Right, actually, there's a couple of other really good stories on here, but it's It's 10 minutes. We're 10 minutes into the video, even including my little coughing fit, which I'll edit out for you. I'll catch up with you later.